Hello everyone, and welcome to this Viking Get Ready With Me. Let's get this out of the way first of all. There will be no makeup in this tutorial. I'm really sorry everybody, Viking men did not wear makeup as part of their fashion. We're going to be starting with the underwear. These are my linen brays. They are basically, actually what I'm wearing now would be fine if you're working in the fields in the heat of summer. We have manuscript showing this. But anyway, brays are basically a long set of linen underpants. They go just below the knee, as you can see from this little dance. They don't restrict your movement in the least. They are closed with a waistband, also with a linen drawstring inside, and yes, I am wearing modern underwear underneath. I'm not quite that confident on camera yet. This isn't a glamour shoot. They have eyelets in the waistband for attaching them to long hose. These are a slightly more Western European fashion accessory than the northerners of the Viking area would have been wearing, but more on that in a little bit of time. So it's time for our first layer, and past Jimmy is going to grab my stockings. These are linen stockings. They are just short hose, made in two pieces, cut from linen cloth. Now we know people were wearing socks that were knarl bound, a kind of crochet from the period, but these are just simple cut cloth linen. There are many options for socks and stockings. You don't have to even wear these kind of things. But I quite like a pair of linen socks. I think that they're comfy. I think that they provide some nice cushioning underneath the outer layers. Now these aren't actually being held on with any hooks or garters or anything like that. They're just held on with friction by the other layers of clothing. There we go. My lower half is nicely covered. Unfortunately, my tunic is on the bed, so I'll have to reach over and grab that. Get my beautiful face out of shot for a second. This is my linen under tunic. This is, once again, very simple, just made of linen, and it's an early medieval tunic. It goes down to the knee, it has relatively fitted lower arms, nice wide upper arms, and is fairly fitted to the torso. Really simple, really filthy after 10 years of reenactment use, so I do apologise. Please ignore all the stains on that. Oh my goodness, so much combat sweat. And with the linen under tunic on, the underwear is actually complete. This is me in my full set of early medieval underwear, brays, my underhose and my linen tunic. It's quite saggy at the bum to give me plenty of space. Now, some people you will see wearing a little brooch, a little penannular brooch, and I've got one here to show you. This one is made of copper. It's lovely. It's a beautiful little accessory. I actually wear this on my modern clothing sometimes, and a lot of people use it to keep the neckline of their tunic closed, because it does flop. Unfortunately, we don't really have much evidence for these being used like that, so past Jimmy is not going to bother with that. Instead, he's going to go for the next layer, which is the breeches. Now, these are high breeches. In Old Norse, they're referred to as high breeches. Some people call them Viking baggies or baggy Viking pants or whatever you want to call them. They're very generously cut, wide trousers. They're basically pedal pushers. They come to just below my knees. Actually, they're about 3/4 of the way down my leg. So they're basically full length at this stage. They have a waistline, and they probably did gather their waistlines into a band, into an actual waistband, but I haven't seen enough evidence to know how to do that accurately, so for now they are just gathered using the tablet woven wool waistband that I made for them. I like to roll my waistband over, but that's just my preference. We do have evidence for this kind of trouser being worn on picture stones from Gotland in Sweden, showing sailors in wide ankle-length trousers. Very generously cut, as you can see. I can fit my head through the lower cuffs there. Next, it's time for the hose. These are short hose, they're not full length, they're very simple things. If you haven't, you should go and watch Bernadette Banner's video on making 15th century cloth hose. It's a fantastic demonstration of how to make these garments. They're quite difficult to get on sometimes, as you can see from past Jimmy struggling there. Now we have evidence of these being hooked into the breeches using small metal garters or hooks. I'm not using those at the minute because my garters, which are tablet woven silk, are somewhere in my costume room and I need to go and find them. So we're just using friction for now. At some point I might do a video on the garters and hooks of early medieval clothing. If that would be of interest to anybody, seeing those kinds of fixtures and fittings, please do leave me a comment. I need to know what kind of stuff I should be covering for you guys. Now these are perfectly secure for now. If I was going into combat or going for a hike or something, I'd obviously need to garter them or attach them with hooks, but for just doing a little dance in the house, they're perfectly secure. Now this is probably acceptable summer wear for a Viking, as I am. A linen shirt or tunic and a pair of wool breeches with hose is something that we have got pictures of, again, from picture stones and from writing. But ideally, you want to put on a tunic over the top. Now, this is a fairly generic early medieval style tunic again. It's exactly the same pattern as the undertunic, but this one's made of wool. It's all in squares except for the sleeves, which are ever so slightly shaped to give you that fashionable fitted forearm. This is actually a little more Western European than Norse in its decoration. It has bands on the upper arms and the cuffs. The upper arm decoration is quite a French thing to do. Tight forearms, a small neckline so you don't show your chest. Not showing your chest is very important in Norse society. To do so is seen as effeminate and could potentially be grounds for divorce, actually. Phew, there we go. All done. The only thing missing is my belt, and of course it's knotted itself up. Oh god, let's speed myself up, going through that Gordian knot. There we go. That's more like it. Right. Now that we've untied that, the belt has many uses. Obviously, it's used to cinch the waist in, so you get the nice fashionable flaring out of your tunic skirt. It's also used to show off fashionable strap ends. This one is actually silver-plated bronze. It's used so that you can ruck your tunic up and emphasize the nice folds of cloth to show how much cloth you can afford. And obviously, it's used to hang your belt equipment from, your pouches, your knife, things like that. A knife is, of course, an essential fashion item for most Vikings. And there you go. I am ready. That's me ready for a night on the town. I've got my breeches. There they are. I've got my tunic, my undertunic. And I'm basically complete. This is me dressed. I'm ready to go. All you need to do now is add some accessories, like some pendants or some silver. Now, some people would be wearing their leg wraps right now. I'm not going to bother with them. They're very popular for military wear and also for things like hiking and climbing around. I don't need that kind of calf compression just at the minute. Now, I very frequently wear jewellery. Men tended not to wear many beads, from what we can tell. Maybe a couple with a pendant. You could wear your Thor's hammer. You could wear a nice Christian cross. Some nice silver arm rings. Why not? But if you want to go for a more outdoor look, the easiest extra accessory you can wear is, of course, a cloak. There were no overcoats back then. And my cloak is a very simple one, but with some twists. Here it is. It's a nice, simple square of wool, dyed orange with madder, the root of the madder plant, pinned with a nice penannular brooch based on finds from North Wales and Ireland, and decorated with embroidery. This is from the Mammon grave, a late 10th, early 11th century Viking princeling. And then you throw it over your head, and you're basically ready to go. Now, there's an awful lot of talk about having it in the right-hand position, so that you can use your sword arm or gesticulate. Some people have it in the left shoulder position for posing, but we've also got pictures of people wearing it in the centre, especially in Anglo-Saxon chronicles and manuscripts, so I don't really think it matters too much. You can also snuggle it up around yourself like this, and then floop it over your shoulder to get these beautiful Lord of the Rings style folds of cloth. Look at that. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me for a video. I'll do some more of these Get Ready For Me's for different periods. See you soon!